So you were telling Rajkumar that?
I was telling about my visit to Taiwan, and I was surprised to know that there are people in Taiwan who are doing research on Central Asia. So I met some think tank people. Who I wouldn't like to name, but they are scheduled to visit. Somebody is going to Al Farabi University next week. So what they are doing is that they are studying this Uyghur problem, the Taiwanese, and they draw a parallel with China's policies vis-a-vis the Uyghurs that side, and this side what China is doing to Taiwan. So they want to establish a brotherly link with the Uyghur Muslims. So that connects them with this.
But how do you like you as a political scientist? Do you think that it can work?
There are ways for it to work because Central Asian countries abide by one China policy, but they can trade more with Taiwan. So trade can be the element because Taiwan wants to diversify away from China.
Well, the thing is that we have to realize that our state programs of development, they correlate with Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, practically 98%, which is not happening with Russian, like backed by Russia, Eurasian Economic Union, So what Taiwan can give?
Taiwan's main, if you see Taiwan's economy, since they are not recognized as a state, they need to pay others in order to trade with them. They are not recognized as a state, so legally they can't trade with anybody. But they are very strong in technology. They are very strong in semiconductors, chips, and a lot of other stuff. Digital is one of their main focus domain areas. So that way, there can be a lot of cooperation between Central Asian countries and Taiwan in these areas. In these areas.
Interesting.
And also educational also, because I know in Central Asia there is a soft corner for Uyghurs.
Well, it is difficult to say. Very difficult to say.
Okay, I would put it another way. There may not be a soft corner, but they do care about their what
we do. I actually met with the head of Young Uyghurs in Turkey.
Okay.
They have, at that time, it was 10 years back, they had 12 associations there. I interviewed them, I had a chance. But we are, how we are bound with this
one China policy.
I know.
But the point is, even if you are bound by one China policy, you can still lessen your dependence on China.
Right. And which correlates with our policy of multi-vector policy of all the Central Asians, right?
Yes. See, there are two Chinas, right? So when you mention China, why it has to be PRC only? Why can't it be ROC? Right? So there is another history of China that you will find in Taiwan. So to know the original gist of China, one has to engage with Taiwan.
Right.
You cannot only buy this Chinese propaganda that we are the real China. No.
The interesting fact from my life. That I told you now, alumni of Al Farabi National University. And it happened that when we had chance to pick the region which we would have the region of, it was in not bachelor. We were specialists. We studied 5 years.
Okay.
So as I was studying French, supposedly I was to study France, but then I said no, I want to study China because there was a professor. His name was Jen Kun Fu, and he was from Taiwan.
Okay.
So I'm actually graduated as specialist in China.
Okay.
But I never studied Chinese, unfortunately.
Okay.
But that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Because now in India also, after we have had problems with China, so most of the Mandarin teachers in India are now from Taiwan. After that Galwan crisis, because we are making this deliberate choice now that we will not buy this propaganda 100% what Chinese are selling us. If you talk about China, it has to be Taiwan also.
And of course, Taiwan is counterbalancing China in Pakistan.
In Pakistan.
I mean for India, in Indians' vision, like China works in Gwadar.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
and
with
it
Pakistan.
Is a security problem for India,
and then Taiwan counterbalances China in Central Asia,
Yes.
which in the result counterbalances China and Pakistan.
Exactly. Correct. So what we are doing is that everything depends on this January 13 elections. If KMT comes back to power, they are pro-China. They will wind up everything. Because this is what we could think of when we had interaction with people of KMT in Taiwan. So they have always been pro-China. So they will have a dialogue with China and they will eliminate this Taiwanese identity. Right? But if DPP comes back to power, then they will maintain these policies.
What is your perception?
I think DPP will come back to power because
You're
most
still-
of them, because youth, DPP is very popular about youths in Taiwan. These youths are 18-20 years and they know nothing about China.
And what is the rate of young population and
I think most of the supporters of DPP are 60% are youths. So this is why they may come back to power.
interesting.
Because they are constructing this Taiwanese identity away from Chinese identity.
Yeah. They have something
For
separate.
example, we visited a national museum in Taiwan. So there is similar museum in China also, but the original is in Taiwan.
Oh.
So they have the original history and all that stuff. So the point remains the same. If you want to know about China, you need to engage with Taiwan with whatever limitations that you have.
Well, this is how I actually studied China. And here we have Dr. Pramod. Thank you, Raj Kumar.